This topic was suggested to us by one of our users in our last video, so thank you to Frozen Dilemma. We actually really enjoyed gathering information about this topic. Meet this man, Dana White. He's not your average American CEO. He spends millions on antique samurai swords, spends even more playing poker all around the country. He parties, dances, and cherishes every second of his work. But you know what sets him above the rest? The president loves him.
A man named Dana White, who you love, who I love. I assume you love.
Love that too.
You saw the election. The entire country relates with Trump right now.
Dana, shout to Dana. I know you're watching.
Dana.
Yeah, he's the
There's
greatest.
nobody like him, you know?
This is karma, ladies and gentlemen. He deserves this. They deserve it as a family.
They say you can always replace somebody. I'm not sure if that man is replaceable. No, I always say nobody's indispensable, you know, everybody can be replaced. And I always say everybody can be replaced, except Dana.
Welcome to Sports Wale. And today we'll be talking about why Dana needs Trump. But before we get down to business, kindly hit that subscribe button. And also comment below if you have an interesting topic that you want us to cover. Dana White and Donald Trump have been close allies for years. Their relationship is built on mutual benefit, loyalty, and business growth. While White has often stated that he supports Trump because of what he did for the UFC in its early days, the truth is that Dana still needs Trump, and more reasons than one. To understand why Dana White needs Trump, we need to go back to the early 2000s. Dana convinced Fertitta Brothers to buy the promotion with the dream of competing with other big promotions around the globe. But little did he know, his biggest competition will be this man, John Sidney McCain. His hatred for MMA, specifically UFC, was unreal. He went on to write letters to all 50 governors of the United States, and he succeeded in getting UFC banned from almost every state around the country. He even got them removed from the pay-per-views. And when UFC decided that they would still go for events, no arena let them host an event. They were helpless.
These arenas didn't want to sit there. They're like, whoa, we don't want this stuff in our arena.
Until one day, Dana received a call from Donald Trump.
Trump literally called us. Oh, do the event here. We'll have you at the Trump Taj Mahal, blah, 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 blah.
You all might be thinking that this kindness might be the reason why Dana is supporting Trump through thick and thin. Nah, you're wrong. Quid pro quo. A favor or advantage granted in return for something. The relationship of Dana White and Donald Trump was a reciprocal one. Because when Trump made that call, he didn't do it to support the UFC as he was a big MMA fan. But it was because he had business interest in it. When Dana White became the president of the UFC, there were many big competitors like Pride, Strikeforce, and a few others. But they all were purchased by Dana White and UFC to spread their dominance. But then, in 2009, there came affliction. At the time, it was considered as the biggest and the strongest competitor of the UFC. Who was their major shareholder and also their brand ambassador? Donald John Trump.
I think Affliction's going to do really well. It's a great card, and we look forward to being out there and watching.
It was one of the greatest, I was just telling Mark, it was one of the greatest sporting events I've ever seen.
Fight business is a tough business, and Dana is the king there without any doubt. So Affliction didn't last long before the owners shut it down. But what lasted? A reciprocal relation between Dana White and Donald Trump. One of the biggest reasons Dana needs Trump is the overlap in their audience. The UFC's primary demographic consists of young men, many of whom align with Trump's no-nonsense aggressive style. Trump's rallies and UFC events share a common energy, high enthusiasm, passionate crowds, and a love for combat sports. This is why White has repeatedly positioned himself close to Trump, even bringing him to UFC events where he gets massive cheers from the crowd. Trump's presidency and his influence in politics have helped Dana White in several ways. During the COVID-19 pandemic, when most sports organizations were shut down, Dana managed to keep the UFC running. He even set up Fight Island to continue hosting fights. Trump publicly praised White for this move and encouraged businesses to reopen, which helped UFC maintain its momentum while other sports leagues struggled. Trump's pro-business stance aligns with White's aggressive expansion tactics. Lower taxes and reduced regulations have allowed UFC to maximize profits. Imagine running an MMA promotion worth billions and still not giving your fighters a pension even if they suffer a life-threatening injury. Kareem Zidane of The Guardian reported in December 2022 that unlike the vast majority of sports leagues and organizations, where athletes receive between 47% and 50% of the sports revenue, the UFC has historically paid out between 16 and 19% of its revenue to its fighters. Mark Raimondi of ESPN wrote that it is common for UFC fighters to go into fights with injuries because they do not get paid unless they fight. A 2020 poll conducted by The Athletic found that out of 170 mixed martial artists, 79.4% said they were in favor of organizing in a way comparable to the professional unions and associations in other sports. But were they able to form a union? No. And despite all these salary caps and controversies, UFC continues to host its shows all around the globe. That's what being friends with influential people get you. White was also given opportunities to promote UFC at high-profile Republican events, strengthening his business connections. While White has claimed he's not interested in politics, his deep ties to Trump give him significant political power. He has been invited to the White House multiple times, strengthening his influence in both business and politics. White's name has been floated as a potential political figure in sports management or even a government position related to athletics. But there is another big reason why we see their friendship grow, a common enemy, and that is the mainstream media.
You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead.
I don't give a shit what the media says about it. They don't matter.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
I know what you're trying to do. Good try. I have no idea.
Like CNN and MSNBC are fake news.
Both of them have been criticized widely by leading outlets around the world. White, much like Trump, embraces a fighter mentality, refusing to back down from media criticism. Trump's endorsement provides White with a shield against critics, as his association with Trump makes him a hero in certain circles and gives him an even stronger brand identity. White is well aware of Trump's influence, and he knows staying close to him keeps the UFC relevant. And what does it mean to have a president at your back? Well, it ensures your business continues to dominate the combat sports industry. Dana White's relationship with Donald Trump isn't just about loyalty. It's about survival, growth, and power. From helping UFC in its struggling days to influencing business and media, Trump has been an invaluable ally. As long as Trump remains a political and cultural powerhouse, Dana White will continue to stand by him. Because in the end, it's not just about who supports who, it's about winning in the fight business and beyond. What do you think about Dana White's connection with Trump? Do you believe it's purely business, or is there a deeper reason behind their alliance? We've made a video about Russian mafia's involvement in the UFC. Do have a watch. Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights.